Man, welcome to Mad Dog's After Show. You're along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole, the Beast Barrel.
South Dakota, named after a small, lightweight Dodge pickup.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay
Man, here we go. Episode 120, opening again with those inspiring words from the incredible Mr. Evil Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, and enjoying life.
Wow, man, we'll get into some Evil Knievel stuff here. I know you're going to bring it up, but we cannot go any farther into this podcast without thanking, first and foremost, our first responders, and of course, the brave men and women in our armed forces that even let us do this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, where would we be without our veterans that got us to this point and fought for us? And of course, the families of those that gave all KIA, MIA, deep respect for you all. We just want to say thank you to our great partners and sponsors, Kicker Performance Audio, Kicker.com, Assault Industries, Assault Off-Road, AssaultIND.com, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, BomberEyewear.com, Shutter and Whirl Media on Instagram at Shutter and Whirl, and Hey Keeks Marketing, HeyKeeks.com. Dude, I want to jump right in, and I'm sad. One, how are you?
Two, how are you? One, I'm doing well, but let's just jump right in.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I want to jump in with a little bit of a somber note. Our industry has lost in the last very short time a couple of industry legends, icons, and greats. And I'd like to dedicate this episode to the fond and fast memories of the legends, innovators, instigators, and great people, Mr. Walker Evans and Mr. Chris Raschke.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for doing that right up front, man. Just two huge names, like you said, in our industry, in our sport,
Yeah.
in our lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Um, Lord called them both home, and we're just so grateful to live in the wake of what those two have done.
Yeah, I mean, Walker was, and Chris, both such innovators. Chris, since he took over ARP bolts, I mean, seemed every race motor I ever built had ARP in it, and I had the honor to meet him at an American flat track race, Ventura, and actually spend the evening over at their Speed Demon race shop when they were launching the Big Red Honda uh, flat track team. And really nice guy. I've met Walker a couple times, and his innovations from everything from desert racing to suspension for snowmobiles was unmatched. His dedication to the industry, um, and like you said, the Lord called them both home recently, and the industry is definitely feeling the loss.
Yeah, there's just a huge vacuum of those two titans of industry, and how do you not think of that iconic Walker blue, yellow, orange, white paint scheme going
Yeah.
down the road? Um, I won't bore everybody with the details, but I have some personal family history with the Evans family, and man, just I say this in the most loving way possible. Just think about, Walker and Chris are just such amazing people. And of course Walker, it's just a name you just never thought would go away.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. So with that, I think we should observe just a moment of silence. Everybody get out there and hug your family, hug your friends, send a text message, say, hey, I'm thinking of you, or something like that. We're just going to observe a minute of silence for maybe not a full minute, but may they both race in peace.
Thank you for doing that, Lorin. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're going to be missed for sure. And, you know, it's the motorsports industry keeps moving no matter what. And, you know, I believe they're tech and contingency for the legendary Vegas to Reno race today, which the race will be over by the time this comes out. But, you know, I've already wished all my boys good luck and heard back from them all. So, you know, I know they're all ready to go, and that's going to be an exciting one. I wish I was there, but as you can see or tell, I am not even in the home studio this week. I am back in Gallup, New Mexico, where MAddOG'S After Show started. Episode 1 was recorded in this very hotel. Comfort Inn and Suites Gallup East, with the amazing lobby dedicated to veterans, POWs, MIAs, entire lobby. If you are in Gallup, stop and say hi. This place is it gives you chills to walk around the lobby. It's amazing.
Man, I've never stepped 1 foot inside New Mexico, but you know where my next stop is when I get to New Mexico.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to be able to make this trip with me, and you know, I'm bummed everything worked out the way it did. You know, by the way, how's the water problem?
Water problem is 95% taken care of. So thank you for asking.
Well, hallelujah.
I had to think for a second, you know, not to sound dramatic, but I'm like, the water thing. Oh yeah, that's still going too.
Yeah, the big hole in your front yard.
Yeah, I don't even care about that. My truck's down. You know,
Oh,
who can care
yeah.
about water when truck's down? You know?
Yeah, true.
But you know, you just went through this.
Yeah, man. That being said, big shout out to my dudes over at Lowry's Truck Repair in Lake Havasu, Arizona. I had a fuel leak here when I was here, whatever it was, 3 weeks or a month ago, for the Kicker Monster Truck Nationals. I had a fuel leak, and I thought maybe a mouse or something had chewed a tiny hole in the fuel return. And I managed to get it all the way back home without issue. Obviously, nobody on the weekend's going to work on a diesel truck, and nobody I would trust, anyways, especially not here. And so I got it into my boys over at Lowry's, and it turns out the return quick connect fitting on the fuel pump assembly was actually cracked at the pump. And when he went to remove it, he put the quick connect tool in, and the entire nipple came off. So special shout out to God for keeping me safe all the way home. Man, but those guys got me fixed, got me up and running. And I'm always grateful for their way they look after me. And man, you know, I really wish you would have been in the right seat, because I could have used your help on this trip, as it turned out.
And we will get to that extremely shortly. No
Yes.
cliffhangers. But
No.
I forgot to ask you this on the phone. So was it just, I don't want to say just, but was it just the top of the pump, like right at the nipple, that was leaking? My question being, was the pump still working as a pump besides the leak?
Oh yeah, it was on the return side. So
That's
the actual,
unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. So it was literally just cracked, and the return side, of course, when you're at highway speed, interstate speed, towing, um, a lot more fuel goes into the motor and a lot less gets returned to the pump to the tank. So the leak's not as bad. And when you're sitting still, of course, it's, drip, 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 or squirting a little bit. Um, but, it easily could have been seriously poor fuel mileage situation if it broke off.
For sure. And with it being a diesel, all it did, our eco-friendly listeners, all it did was go on the ground, and someday that diesel will be back in the truck. So it's just on hold.
Yeah. Yeah. It's storage. Um,
Storage.
yeah. So yeah, that was really interesting. And, I'm beginning to think that Interstate 40 from the border to New Mexico, from
Cursed.
the Arizona border to New Mexico, doesn't like me or something.
Nope.
Because this trip, the entire man door frame attempted to exit my trailer
Oh,
just just before, um, just as I literally hit the New Mexico border. I mean, literally.
yeah,
Uh,
that's not an accident.
no, I was looking. I'm very attentive to my mirrors, and I hit a big bump, and I'm mirror checking everything, and I look in the right mirror, and the man door is hanging by a couple of screws.
But still hanging, not gone,
Yeah, not
which is
gone.
the most insane part of the story.
Yeah. So, man, I found a wide spot really fast, and I want to thank all those unprofessional, untrained truckers out there. The professional ones changed lanes. I was off the side of the road probably 2 to 3 feet. Um, have my four ways on, and you can certainly tell the difference between real truckers and the wheel holders, because the real truckers all changed lanes. Um, and I was having to work on the blind side of the trailer, and I mean, dude, I was praying the whole time for safety, because all it took is somebody on their cell phone in a semi, which I see all the time on the interstates. The guys all over the lane, just to get a little wide, and it could have been game over. At least a nasty recovery while I was repairing the door. So, uh, it's one of those situations where your mind really wants to panic, but you have to force yourself to, like, okay, you can't panic. You need to work fast, but not panic. Be methodical. Um, and then, like a dummy, uh, I was able to find some screws to get the door frame back in the lower shelf, like the skid plate, if you will, at the bottom of the door. Um, but I had not charged the battery for my cordless impact,
Mm.
and so I had to do it all by hand. Which, first world problems, but in
Right.
that situation, speed is kind of an essence.
Okay, I got three things if I can rapid fire these at you.
Hit me.
And the most important is number three. So number one is I also decided at the age of 34, as I was dealing with tire irons last weekend, that I finally need to buy an impact. So yes, you're onto something with power tools. And I'm not old, but I finally said to my wife, I'm too old to be messing with this tire iron for 6 hours. Number two, I forgot. Number three, we need to have Chad DeMeyer on, our good friend Chad, on
Yes.
this podcast, because we need to have a roundtable. We need to take our most experienced, legitimate trucker in the world and say, you've done well over 1,000,000 miles. Here's what we're upset about. Now you tell us what you're upset about, and then we need to praise you, and then you need to praise us. So jot that down before we get done with this episode. We need to have a trucking episode, a call to arms, and we're going to hash this out.
That's a brilliant idea, actually. That's yeah, I like that. That's a great idea.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk to Chad. All right, now go ahead.
Yeah, so man, I was able to get because of some logistical issues. We're supposed to be setting up today, racing Friday and Saturday. Because of some logistical issues, Friday's program got pushed into Saturday, which gave me the time to work on the trailer door today. Quick trip to Home Depot, and four, maybe five drill bits later, and several self tappers and tube of clear silicone, and we are back and ready to get crap beat out of us on Interstate 40 again. And while I'm talking about that, man, Arizona, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I think you're a great state, but how can you not have a decent highway on Interstate 40? Like, you would
Kind of
think,
your flagstaff highway.
yeah, you get millions of dollars, billions probably of federal dollars in assistance for roadways, because it is an interstate roadway, plus your own probably $1 billion budget. And it takes you years to get a 10-mile section paved. And by the time you're on to the third 10-mile section, the first 10-mile section is completely wasted again. And why can we not have good asphalt anymore?
Well, let's do this. So I'll give them 5% credit because unless you're going to put a giant tarp over the sun, that's pretty hard to fight that sun. Other than
Yes.
that, everything's fair game.
You would think in modern technology that we would be able to develop an asphalt that would actually stand up to truck traffic, and it's not getting any lighter, right?
Nope.
I mean, so I don't know. It pisses me off that you know, the state, we pay taxes in the state, and the road, Interstate 40, is always just beat to shit. And it's hard on equipment. And I really think that's why my fuel pump cracked last trip, was just how rough the road is. I mean, obviously, a lot of miles and a lot of wear and tear, but that old grinder's made, probably, good Lord, at least this far from Havasu to Gallup, probably 20 round trips on Interstate 40, and it just never gets better.
Fair enough.
So
This may
shame
sound
on
related, it might
Arizona.
not, but there's some times when I get nervous out on the middle of a trail, and I've done this many times. I've told my brother, and I'll say, as gnarly as this is, I'm grateful that this is for fun because our friends south of the border, this is probably smoother than some of their roads.
Yeah, true.
So not saying that your point is
Right.
or not important, but
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, dang, like our fun is some other people's commute, and in this
Right.
case, it's your commute.
Well, and then, conversely, like, obviously I drive to Vegas airport a lot, and they're repaving that whole stretch of 95. And dude, they're knocking it out. I mean, they've got probably 7/8 from Vegas to Searchlight completed already.
Oh wow, that's extremely good.
And they're already
that's in
down
the
on
middle
the
of
other
nowhere.
side. Yeah.
In the
It's
best
like,
of ways.
I mean, thank all the gamblers.
Yeah, good point.
But You would think if one state could do it, another state could do it.
Well, you would think that, right? But then you think about states like, what's that one, California, and stuff like that.
New
Just
Mexico.
get with the program.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyways,
You're
I'm over
safely
that.
there. You're safely in
I'm
Gallup.
safely there. I did end up having to change a tire out. I had one that was pretty worn, so um, it's is what it is. That's normal wear and tear. A door falling out because the screws got broken off because the road's so rough is not normal wear and tear.
Yeah, that's
Arizona,
fair.
get your shit together. Okay, I'm getting over it. I'm
All
getting
right.
over it. I promise. Um,
You're
with
allowed to
that,
vent.
man, we need to jump back a week, a week and a half, I guess. Whew. To Sturgis,
Sturgis, South Dakota.
Sturgis, South Dakota, for the annual 85th annual Sturgis Rally. I flew out to Stillwater and was able to go with the kicker team, J Dub and Steven. We went up and did 3 American flat track races and an arena cross race in 5 days.
Well, one, that's not easy to do. Two, that's a lot of work. Three, if you think about it, if you're an audience member, that's the dream, is to have something every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was exciting. It was busy. It was long days. Um, we took the kicker 36-foot trailer. It's got a big race awning on it. Um, that was done. Incredible setup. Really cool setup. One of these days, I have to show you some pictures. Um, Done by Danny over at Holiday Awnings in Havasu. So Danny does a great job. He takes care of the big truck for kicker also, but super nice dude too. Um, anyway, but it involved setup. Um, Pretty much race Monday, race Tuesday, breakdown, finish pack up, complete breakdown Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, Dark 30 move to the legendary Buffalo Chip in Sturgis and a complete reset up. Thursday night, a complete breakdown and pack up. Friday morning, Dark 30 hookup at Buffalo Chip, haul back to the Jack Pine Gypsies, and another complete setup for the first ever Jack Pine Gypsies American Flat Track AMA Pro Racing Super TT. And we'll get to all that. But I want to go into a couple of things. One, there's a lot of bad riders in Sturgis
Okay.
during the rally. A lot of people that either were new or just didn't care about their life and created a lot of bad situations. And I really wish that would get better, but I don't know that it will. Uh, that being said, we had a great time. We ate good. We had fun. We walked around one day. We walked around town quite a bit, right down Main Street and all that. Got to go over and see my good friends, Big Jeff and Richard over at Motor Trike, who had taken 4 custom Indian trikes on that have been ordered by Indian of Sturgis, and they told me that Indian of Sturgis had sold all 4 of them.
God dang.
Yeah, and that was midweek,
Good start to the week, I'd say.
and they weren't cheap. I can tell you that.
But
All that being said, oh, go ahead.
no, go. All right. So let me jump in real quick here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's be real on this podcast. How much, if you had to put percentage blame pie on this, How much was rider inexperience? How much was inebriation?
Oh, I would say probably 50-50.
Wow, I don't know what I hate more.
It might have been 33 and a third, 33 and a third, and then 33 and a third of just assholes.
Hmm. All right, so we'll put that in the inebriation category for this
Yeah.
experiment.
I don't know. I think I can say that word. It's my podcast.
Yeah, you literally can. Man,
Um,
it's one thing to be riding, but another thing if you have a literal truck and trailer, right, coming through town.
yeah, yeah. You would think people would be a little more like maybe not quite so quick to cut you off or turn right from the left lane when you're in the right lane right in front of you. But they just, like I said, I don't know, man. It was nuts. Um, but moving on from that, I'm trying not to have a whole rant about that. Um, but I could, trust me, I could. Moving on. Um, so the American flat track races were at the Jack Pine Gypsies Motorcycle Club, and they have an amazing short track, an unbelievably beautiful motocross track, a crazy hill climb track, and now the makings of a super TT also. So, dude, and just to go into a little history, Jack Pine Gypsies is where the Sturgis Rally started. Um, and I can't remember the originator, but the entire, 10 or 14 day Sturgis Rally now, 85 years later, started, I believe, in 1930. I don't remember, but it started with the Jack Pine Gypsies hosting a kind of like a trials race or a sprint race, um, and a half mile short track um, flat track race. That's where all of it started.
That's insane. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Kind of gives credit to my idea that I'm trying to pitch to Scotty, but continue.
Yeah. Oh, is that your Lucas Oil idea?
I mean, if it's 1938, we have some kind of race that's half trials, half flat track. Am I not saying the same thing 80, 90 years later?
Yeah, I agree. What's really funny is in Scotty Dubler's most recent Off the Groove podcast, he actually he actually was talking about your idea, pitching your idea.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that being said, I didn't hear him give you credit.
Thank God, if we're being honest. Because if this goes awry, I don't want my name attached to it.
Yeah, it was but he was pitching your idea. So and I think it's a great idea. So
Thank
I'm
you.
behind it.
I do too. That's why I pitched it.
We'll get to the Super TT, but I I googled this real quick because I couldn't remember. Clarence Pappy Hole created Jack Pine Gypsies Motorcycle Club after purchasing a Sturgis, South Dakota Indian motorcycle franchise in 1936. The first ever Sturgis Rally was held on August 14th, 1938, as a one-day event. At that time, only 9 participants raced in what was then known as the Black Hills Classic.
That's insane, man. Think about that. If you're one of the 9, In the words of Troy Lee Designs, you're one of the world's fastest racers because there
right?
only had to be a couple thousand across the world at that point.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, so to be at the Jackpine Gypsies um, motorcycle club facility, meet the family that runs it, and there's literally three generations, probably actually with the little kids running stuff around, let's say four generations running that facility still. And I got to meet them all, and they're all super genuine, super nice people.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that you hope that doesn't get lost on the illustriousness of the rally. You know, there's legitimate people's, whether it's their career, their hobby, or their passion, starting right there on the grounds. Right? It should be a celebration of American motorcyclism.
Yeah,
And I think it's working its way that way. But that is so cool to even have the kiddos out there and just the 10 years down the road say, yeah, I've raced at Sturgis. This is nothing new to me.
yeah, it's amazing, and just knowing the history, it's just like being there was like being part of history. And it was the first time in a long time that American Flat Track had come back to Jackpine Gypsies. Um, and dude, they had the short track Monday night. It's kind of weird race nights because they had a short track Monday night, short track Tuesday night, and a Super TT Friday. Monday night attendance was fantastic. Um, I thought the racing was incredible. Some of the riders weren't very happy with the condition of the racetrack. It got a little bumpy pretty early on, especially entering turn 3. But I also think it made for multi-track or multi-line racing because some guys didn't want to hit the bump, so they were pushing the cushion, and it was, and you never know, hitting that bump at speed is unsettling. So um, I thought it was some amazing racing, and they raced the adventure trackers on a half mile, or that is a 1/5 mile oval.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty
So
tight.
yeah, really tight. And so the Super Twins fast time on Monday night was in the 13/8. The singles presented by Kicker fast time was in the 13/7s,
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
right?
I I always think about this stuff. Continue. Finish your thought, and then I'll take 30
The
seconds.
adventure trackers, which are basically stock adventure bikes over 900 or over 1,000 cc's, their fast time was like 15:9.
Not far off.
Yeah, maybe it was, yeah, no, 18. I think they were running 18:9.
Got it. Okay. That makes me feel better. Because if we're
Yeah,
having three classes all that tight, something's got to change. All right.
yeah, no,
Let me take this ball and run with it for a second.
run.
We've said this so many times, and it's like when you get to the level of professionalism, if you're a professional motorcycle racer and you're not happy, good, because usually the racing's pretty damn good. As
Yep,
long as it's safe. That's the big thing. And we can't yell that enough from all the mountaintops across the world on this podcast. Got to
yep,
be safe. But if it's safe
absolutely.
and there's a massive hole in dirt 3 or in turn 3 and you guys are upset, well then go race pavement because that's not what we're doing here.
I I like it. Good
Thank you.
call.
Go ahead.
Yes, well done. Well said. And I agree 100%. Um, when you sign that contract to be a professional motorcycle racer, when you're getting paid to ride a motorcycle for a living, you are one of a very, very, very exclusive and minute few in the world that have that opportunity So get on the bike and ride.
As long as it's safe, shut up and ride.
Yep, I agree. I agree completely. So it made for great racing, dude, because there was bikes were everywhere and they were all very close. I think there was maybe three 100s in the between the top five in Super Twins.
Wow.
And there was I think Monday, I believe there was four different brands in the top five.
So literally what you want. You have racing
Yeah.
that's not one lined, and you have multiple manufacturers up towards the front.
Yeah, there was in less than a second. I think the entire top 15 was less than a second apart in Super Twins.
I mean, obviously they try, but you can't even plan for that. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So mission
Um,
accomplished.
yeah, I would say, uh, Tuesday they worked all day on the track and they got it smoothed out and got it packed in and got it. Uh, they did a lot of work to the track and they did a nice job. Um, that being said, Tuesday night, uh, crowd was good. Pretty good. Uh, Qualifying was good, but Monday with the rough track, fast time was 13:7, 13:8 for the twins. Tuesday, fast time was like 13:101.
What a difference.
Yeah. But again, there was, like six brands in the top 10 qualifiers. The Super Twins were actually a tenth or so faster than the singles. Um, the But when it got to the racing, honestly, dude, it was a little boring because it was basically I mean, until Breyer went for it on um shoot, I forget his name, the Yamaha guy, Dallas Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Until Breyer went for it on Dallas Daniels as the race was coming to an end, um, tried a little different line, just kind of, you got to give it to him for trying. Um, but Daniels ended up crashing. And the rules are if you cause an accident, you go to the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in an accident, you go to the back.
Mm-hmm.
So both Breyer and Dallas, with I don't know, maybe 5 laps to go, had to start in the back and managed to work their ways back up to I think fourth and fifth or fifth and sixth, respectable. Still fast.
Insanely, of course.
Yeah. And huge congratulations, Brandon Robinson. Uh, Put that Harley on the podium at the short track too. So the racing, though, until the incident, wasn't really inspiring, right? It was basically a one-lane racetrack, and that's you know when you have a tight points battle like you have in the Super Twins class, and you have limited good surface, if you will, or it's a one-line track. Let's just call it that. You're going to create where it's hard to pass. You're going to create situations where riders who are up there and want to move forward and know they have the speed are going to try something. I mean, that's just the way it is. And, in this situation, um, I think Dallas was in second, Breyer was in third, and I think Breyer felt like he was being held up, and so he went out wide to kind of what we would call flatten the corner, if you will, like a diamond, not diamonding it off. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It was more of a flatten the apex, real low down on the apex, real high entry, lots of speed in, kind of up off the cushion with a straight shot into the corner, and Dallas was running on the what had been the fast line, the race line, basically, and came down a little bit, and Breyer hit him, and Dallas went flying, and you know, um, and I guess he wasn't very happy, but it was the most exciting thing in the race, honestly.
Well, you know what we could have done? We could have put a hole in turn 3.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just look, it's interesting because what you said, about surfaces and safety, as long as it's safe, you know, I agree. Like, if it's a little rough, it's a little rough, you know? And so, but huge congrats uh, to Brandon Robinson for putting that Harley on the podium. It's funny because his wife, Ashley, is a friend of mine that works for American Flat Track, and she handles a lot of stuff, a lot of the podium stuff, and making sure the guys get their kicker swag, and um, you know, making sure when they're doing PR videos and stuff, they've got little kicker stickers to put, on helmets or whatever. And great kid. Um, but I told her Monday, I said, Brandon was looking really good. Or I told her Tuesday before the races, I said, Brandon was looking really good last night. And he's been, hustling, really doing well lately. I said, he's going to be right up top here soon. And then lo and behold, he won that night. So that was pretty rad. And we had congratulatory high fives on Friday. So, but, it was still, it was okay racing, but the drama certainly made it really good.
Interesting. Well, kind of where we're at with racing right now, right? You need
Yeah. I mean,
some.
NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar.
Yeah, Formula One could use some drama on track, man. Jeez, what a sport that's. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Every driver lives in a bubble.
Monte Carlo bubble.
Yep. So, but anyway, yeah, wrapped it up Tuesday. Um, Came back Wednesday morning, packed the whole thing down, got it ready to move. We had to be in. We took a little time Wednesday afternoon. J-Dub went out for a ride with the Arena Cross group that had brought their bikes down from Canada. And Stephen never seen Mount Rushmore. And I was blessed last year that we had time that J-Dub took me out there because I had never seen it until last year. And so Steve and I went out to Mount Rushmore, and it still just blows me away what they did, how they did it, how fast they did it. Folks, you should definitely do some research on it. It's a pretty amazing story how fast they did it, and all that stuff. And we got ice cream at Mount Rushmore. We got
Ice
Thomas
cream.
Jefferson ice cream.
Kind of like the most patriotic day you've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, for reals, dude, it's pretty impressive. Um,
Yeah, those pictures were very cool, though.
yeah, thank you. Did I send you the ice cream one?
No, that's why I feel kind of
Yeah,
left out.
I did a double focus. I figured out how to do it, and I can't remember how again, but I was able to focus on the ice cream cone and Mount Rushmore. I'll send it to you. But it came out pretty cool. Check my social media; it might be on theirs, people. Um, all that being said, we ran back, and we had to be into the Buffalo Chip the next morning. Oh yeah, and we went down to Wednesday after we packed up, went down to the Buffalo Chip, parked at one end because none of us had ever been there. We had no idea what we were doing, where we were going. and hiked all the way down to the main stage and what they call the bowl, um, which is, by the way, a massive hike. It it had to be a mile, and it was hot. And anyway, I had to stop and stretch my calf. I started cramping up. Um, but we got down there and met with the arena cross crew, got a good idea where we were going to have to be, where we were going to park, and what was going on. And and then we had to hike back out. And special shout out uh, to the gentleman that owns the trucking company that stopped and picked me up in his golf cart. He was towing his giant uh, auxiliary sewer tank from his RV up to the RV dump station, and I was having problems. I was trying out a new pair of DC shoes, which, by the way, it's the last pair of DCs I'll ever buy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 days, the entire sole and arch collapsed, and walking in rough terrain for me with my fused foot with um, a complete collapsed sole of a shoe insole, I was starting to have a lot of pain, and it was uphill. And gentleman saw me limping a little bit, quite a bit, not going to lie, a lot. And actually drove by me, turned around, came up and was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Out to the main front parking lot by the flags." He's like, "Hop in, I'm going that way."
That's
I was,
awesome.
I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." And he had just had ACL reconstruction. So
So he had some sympathy on you.
yeah, yeah. And by then, Steve O and J Dub were considerably further ahead of me, and he actually stopped and picked them up too. So,
Oh, sweet. Well,
and they
shout
were
out.
yeah, they were super grateful because it was about 95 degrees. So, but yeah, man, that was super rad. And we got in, so we hooked trailer, got in there way early, uh, Thursday morning, and they had started building the track. They got their first load of dirt at 1:30 in the morning.
Oof. Not normal construction hours.
No, they had to have the track built and ready for practice by, I think it was 3. Um and dude, just crazy. Uh Brandon from Vision Built Tracks has done all the arena cross. You've heard me talk about him from the arena cross season this last year. He's actually here building the Gallup track now, but he had a Herculean task there, dude, to get that track built. And they brought in, I don't know how many truckloads of dirt, built a track right there in the bowl, just off to one side of the main stage where Marilyn Manson would be performing later that night. Um, and bro, it was epic. I can't even begin to explain. Like, I mean, you're at the legendary Buffalo Chip. Um, and, we were not too far from the stage, and there's a paved road that goes through the middle. Um, and that's where they did the Concrete Cowboy show. And they also did the Ball of Death, which is actually this steel ball shaped cage that they get 2 motorcycles in, dirt bikes, and the guys ride around, and they ride completely upside down. They ride around and crisscross. It's so exciting. I mean, it's unbelievable to watch. It's just crazy. Um, and they had that set up right between the takeoff and airbag landing for the freestyle show. Um, so my good friend Scrub was out there. And if you don't know Scrub210 on Instagram, uh, go give him a follow. You've probably seen the video. Nitro Circus had the video going for a long time of the guy jumping the Sportster, doing freestyle tricks on a Harley Sportster. That is my buddy Scrub. Um, and unfortunately, he had a bad landing the day before on the Sportster. So he was actually jumping his dirt bike. He was feeling a little back pain. Um, but we also had the Concrete Cowboys doing burnouts on Harleys and wheelies and all kinds of crazy stuff right there in front of us. And then they got the arena cross racing, and man, the action was good. It was crazy. People started to gather. I mean, it was just nuts. We had um, such a bunch of people. I mean, it's just crazy. So on top of all that craziness, they had a high wire that ran from up in the upper parking lot behind and over the kicker trailer all the way to the top of the main stage. And they had a high wire artist um, that was none other than Blake Walenda. Yes, that's right. Of the Flying Walendas, seventh generation aerialist and circus performer. How wild is that?
Uh, it's extremely wild. It's not wild by Sturgis standards.
Right? Dude, it was crazy because um, he came down to the trailer earlier when we were just chilling and we were hanging out, and he just introduced himself as Blake. Um, and he hung out and talked for a couple hours, and we had a really nice visit and got to know him a little bit. Then we were talking about coffee, and he's like, "Oh, I'll go make a pot." And he literally went and made a pot of his own coffee and brought it down uh, and the four of us sat there and had a cup of coffee together. And, you know, it's funny because I did not even consider, even though said he was seventh generation and had this amazing insight into um, the circus life and all that, I didn't even consider that. It just never entered my mind that he was talking about his grandpa and his great grandpa, and never entered my mind that he could be a Walinda. And then sure enough, there he is. And he was super cool. He had his big, I actually went up there, and those balance um, rods they use, the balance beam thing they
Yep.
hold.
Yep.
Uh, I went up to where his takeoff was, and he was showing it to me, let me hold it, was like, hold it like this, and here's how far spread your arms are. He goes, it weighs 47, I think it was 47.5 pounds. He goes, now without moving any of your body but your arms, your forearms, from the elbow down, touch one end of the ground and lift it up, touch the other end of the ground, lift it up. And I like to think my arms and, my arm calves are pretty strong and pretty fit. But that was a workout, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure that whole thing is a full body experience.
Yeah. But it was really cool. He had big American flags hanging off the off the ends of his balance pole. And when he walked that night, and he actually stopped and kneeled right above the kicker trailer on the high wire. And I was one of the people he asked to hold the stay wires, the steady wires, guy wires. It's amazing how much those move. He's like, just keep tension on it. Um, and that wire, I probably moved three 3 feet on that wire as he passed over. So it's absolutely insane. Um, no nets, no parachutes, no safety harness, no nothing. Just like 40 feet in the air, walking 45 feet in the air, walking right across this little wire.
No thanks.
Yeah, it was nuts. And while he was walking over it is when they did the firewall smash. And it was crazy. He was just on the other side when they lit all the boards up, and the heat was insane. And you could actually see the heat waves affect the flags on the end of his balance beam.
That's pretty sketchy.
Yeah,
Obviously, he
dude.
knows what he's doing, but the whole
Yeah.
thing sounds terrifying.
Yeah, you wouldn't get me out there, no way, no how.
No, I don't even like anything over 4 stairs.
Right. So anyways, it was an amazing show. I mean, we had arena cross, we had concrete cowboys. They ended the show with a burnout session so intense that you could not see under the kicker trailer.
Goodness.
Yeah, couldn't see under the awning. It was unbelievable. Just totally nuts, and totally rad. And then as they started the pre-stuff for the concert, we started packing up. We got everything packed up and got the heck out of there. Just as I think I got to hear 3 Marilyn Manson songs, and they were all ones that I knew. But I heard it was a great concert, but we had to get out of there because we had to be back to pick that trailer up in the morning and get it back into Jack Pine Gypsies before 9:30 next morning. So it was kind of wild, like, just the schedules, and it was craziness.
Well, it's one thing to just get through that whole rally, but I sympathize with you moving equipment and a truck and a trailer to 3 different locations in 1 week. That just sounds like a nightmare. To me, that sounds like short haul trucking to me.
It was fun. I don't know if Steve-O and J-Dub thought it was fun, but I thought it was fun. And yeah, so Friday we got set up and they built the Super TT there at the Jack Pine Gypsies, first ever Super TT. And they were shaping up to build a pretty aggressive tabletop.
Good.
And I looked the track and walked the track after we got set up that morning. And I had to go down to the other side of the track where AFT operations was set up because I had a couple things I had to do there. And was looking at the track and I was talking to a couple of the track guys and I'm like, dude, it sure would have been awesome if from the transition from the dirt to the pavement before they dropped back down into the racetrack would have been awesome to just put a little like ski jump in there, real low profile, just
Time to shake it up.
Yeah, and the track builder was like, "Oh, I have one built. I have one in," and they took it out. They wanted me to take it out and flatten the tabletop a little bit down in the main stretch because being the first race, nobody being the first Super TT they haven't run a Super TT for what 2 years or 3 years since Arizona. So they weren't sure how the bikes were going to stand up to it, and they didn't want to go too big and have catastrophic failures on the first try. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah, so they made it safer. But still, where they came off the moto track. So they started where they started on the short track, went into turn 1. Turn 2 turned into more of a keyhole turn, and they went into the infield of the short track where there was a tabletop. They came off the tabletop, made a right-hander across the short track out onto the brand new pavement they put out, where they got onto the pavement, made a slight right, hard left, hard right, medium left into the motocross track where they did kind of a bermed corner in the motocross track that was not packed hard at all. It was interesting. And then into a short straight from the dirt to the pavement. And where they re-entered the track, there's actually about a 4-foot concrete wall there. So they filled that all in with dirt. So the guys were actually launching a good portion of that coming off the pavement because they had, of course, positive hookup on the pavement. And there was a lot of guys that were landing, getting sketched when they landed, you know?
Keeps it exciting as long,
Oh,
once
yeah.
again, as long as they're safe.
Yeah. And and where it came back in what would be turn 4. So it was actually a jump downhill to a long straight stretch. And they were actually, it was long enough and they were getting so much drive off the pavement that in practice, several bikes, probably 40% plus of the field was on the rev limiter by the start line.
Ooh, yeah, it's a strategy thing.
Yeah. So they had to, I'm sure there was some gearing changes and whatnot, but a lot of the guys, as term 1 came in, a lot of the guys were actually cutting the throttle and starting to pitch the bike just after the start line, which was crazy to see, but they were going so bloody fast.
Interesting. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a study. It was, for me, it was a study in racing big old street bikes on the dirt and pavement. So it was pretty crazy. And yeah, and then, dude, it was just a matter of wrapping it up. And we hooked the trailer early Saturday. And with uh, the 3 of us made the entire run back to world headquarters at Kicker in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Saturday, which was long day, 15, 16 hours, something like that.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was definitely a long day. And, and then wrapped a couple things up Sunday. And then Monday flew home, which, almost went flawless. Flew out of Stillwater in the little microjet. And of course, even early in the morning, American Airlines had a delay, sent me back about an hour or so getting home. But I got home Monday afternoon and then, you know, paperwork and all that. Tuesday, it's prep day, get everything loaded, get everything cleaned up, get everything ready for Gallup. And Wednesday morning, it was on the road for Gallup. But what an epic adventure Sturgis was. And man, so exciting. Can't wait to go back next year. Maybe I'll have a bike to ride by then, or a bike we can take that I can ride.
Man, that would be so good. You
Yeah,
need to.
it would
I'll
be
sign a
good to get
doctor's note.
little throttle therapy that way. But, you know, um, that's what I'm working towards. So if you have comments and suggestions, realistic suggestions about bikes that you think I should ride, I've been thinking maybe a club style Harley, um, or maybe an older Buell. I kind of like the older Buells. So
All right. Well, you're
uh,
not going to like either of my answers. So please, if you're listening, comment, rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. Let us know what Lorin should be riding. But my first 2 you're going to hate. So let's get right into it.
hit
Number
me.
1, a 1983 to 86 Yamaha TT600 air cooled
Ooh.
4-stroke. I love them. You hate Yamaha. It's fine. We don't have to get into that. Number 2, I think you on a Sportster 880 thing slammed to the ground, maybe we even pull the front brake off, you would be a hellion on a Sportster. You just come out of every corner and you hold that thing wide open. People are going to say, that's an 883. And you go, yeah, but I can ride it faster than you can. Those are my two suggestions.
Yeah, well, I probably wouldn't get a Sportster because, they kind of have um,
They do.
a
Say less.
badge to them. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm definitely looking. I'm looking at V twins. I'm not completely sold on one, but I have started looking. So look out.
And we know people in high places over at certain motorcycle manufacturer companies that I know you would like to ride.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
you're listening and you know who you are, not a male, let's go ahead and get this sorted for Lorin.
Well said. Yeah, man. With that, I think we just need to wrap Sturgis up, and I mean, I could talk about it for hours, but we don't have hours. I do want to um, get a couple of things in real quick. With that, folks, we're wrapping up Sturgis. If you want more, maybe we'll talk about it more on the next episode or on an after show. Um, and maybe we'll talk bikes. But right now, we're going to wrap, but not without sending very special prayers and thoughts of speedy recovery and healing to my good friend Carl, um, of Carl and Nikki fame from across the pond. And you've heard me talk about them multiple times. I met them at Daytona Bike Week this year. We've stayed in great touch, and they're great friends. And Carl had to get off.
Oh man,
Yeah, just a couple days ago, or day before yesterday, I guess, or yesterday. No, day before. Um, no fault of his own. His pride and joy is smashed. Turns out it was a tourist driving on the wrong side of the road in England, coming around a corner, and thankfully Carl is okay. He's in good spirits. He's got a broken pelvis, gonna need a little work there. And so Carl, my warmest thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery. Nikki, thanks for being there and slapping him around and keeping him in line. And I love you guys. I hope to see you, next year. In the meantime, um, yeah, get well soon, buddy.
shout out to Carl and Nikki, man. Oof,
Yeah, for sure.
tough times.
With that, man, we want to be sure and thank, of course, all of our great partners and sponsors, Kicker Performance Audio. You can find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram, at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, on YouTube, Kicker, and every other Tuesday night live at 7:30 Central on their TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live, on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Of course, Assault Industries, Assault UTV, Assault accessories for all your premium off-road needs. Assault has you covered. Everything from tools to gear to off-road accessories. Check them out, assaultind.com, or find them on Instagram at assaultutv. Bomber floating eyewear. Bomber safety eyewear. Bomber setting the bar as high as possible eyewear. For all your eyewear needs, whether you need safety eyewear, polarized eyewear, really cool eyewear, check out their over 40 styles of frames and God knows how many styles of lens combinations. You can check it all out at bombereyewear.com or on Instagram at bombereyewear. Remember, when you hit the cart and you go, wow, those are really reasonable, they last a long time too, by the way. Once you have your cart full and you are checking out, be sure and enter that code MAddOG20, MAddOG20. Let them know we sent you and save yourself a little money.
It's the American thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, they float.
Most importantly,
Of course, Shutter and World Media for all your photography and videography needs, everything from pre-production planning through production to post-production. Hit them up, Shutter and Whirl, on Instagram at Shutter and Whirl. Go to the bio, find their website in the bio. It's really long, so I don't want to go into it here. But, she does a great job editing all of our videos for YouTube. And we're so blessed to have her take care of our audio and video. You need videos done? Hit her up, Shutter and Whirl. Hey Geeks Marketing, handling all of our logo work, our template work, our social media templates, and website. And for any of you that need a website built, maintained, need anything done to it, or a social media account built, or accounts maintained, or even social media influencer campaigns, yell, Hey Geeks, or find her online, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. Dude, it's been a great show. Sturgis was amazing. I'm so thankful that you're able to jump on with me. I know your time is super critical right now. Special shout out to all the law enforcement officers, sheriffs, patrol, and city of Sturgis. You guys busted your asses out there and did everything you could to keep as many people safe as possible. Great presence. I talked to a few of them, super nice people, and probably some really stressful times. So, grateful for sure. And folks, I want to be sure and thank you all for tuning into our YouTube channel, MAddOG'S After Show. The views on our podcast videos are exploding. I'm super stoked. I'm so very grateful for all of you. And for those of you who have been sharing it out on your social media and on, on the web, thank you so much. We are very blessed and very grateful to have you. Just crazy how it's taken off. And I'm very thankful.
Man, we're just, yeah, as Lorin said, just overly grateful is not even a good enough adjective for what's going on. But just thank you for sticking with us and standing by us, and the amount of guests and people who've commented and have stories to tell. And hey, this is, if you have a story to tell, this is the podcast to do it on. So we're just so grateful that everybody's sticking by us.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of us, if you want to get our beautiful voices at your event, MC or announce, send us a message on our Instagram. That is the @
Alpha Frank Tango. What's R?
Robert
_
podcast
on Instagram, Facebook.
Yes. And YouTube. MAddOG'S After Show, AFTR. With that, Cole, what you got? Wrap it up.
First of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, make sure to rate, review, subscribe on your favorite streaming platforms. Third of all, this will be out in time. If you're in Big Bear next weekend, come find me. I will be at the initial Swap Moto Grand Prix, Big Bear, California. I'm finally leaving my house. Come
awesome.
Find me.
Fantastic. Man, I got a little bit of time off, and then I'm out in Springfield for the legendary Springfield Mile doubleheader, American Flat Track, and then right turned around to the something right after that. I don't remember now. Yeah, we'll get
stuff.
There. Yeah, there's stuff. There's stuff happening. So, yeah, always stay tuned. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for following us and sharing us with your friends. We appreciate the fact that you enjoy our show, and we're just having fun, We just want to get things out there. If you want to be a part of it, hit us up. after show on Instagram at symbol AFTR_podcast. Send us a message if you want to be part of this madness. With that, I want to say God bless you, our fans. God bless our first responders. God bless our heroes. God bless our U.S. military all around the world. God bless our veterans. Mad Dog out.